she wake, and Rosalie wake. Oh my Aunt, she wake, and Rosalie wake. Oh yeah, Lord, right. When they hear the rhythm, spirits from the broken reefs, join your voices together. Yeah, I'll just sing. Red day, my day. No sound comes down. Drink still can't stay.
A pretty lady down the street one day, here's what she had to say. Life's been unkind in so many ways. I'll be evicted with 5 children, yes, hardly a cent to pay the rent, hung down head. Here's what she said. Oh, how I wish I could fly. I'd fly away so high, up with the birdies, way up in the sky. Things kinda getting to me. I need an escape. I'm sure many of you would relate. She said Monday stress, Tuesday stress, oh, Wednesday stress.
Tonight, a town meeting in Grand Bahama following that recent arbitration ruling. We are live tonight. Also, a sex offender posing as a modeling scout accused for more sex crimes. And later, a man is charged for an armed robbery that went viral, sending shockwaves throughout the community. Eyewitness News starts now. Good evening, everyone. I'm Janaea Noel. Thanks so much for joining us. Topping news tonight, a 37-year-old man accused as posing as a model scout to prey on teenage girls has been remanded to prison after appearing in court on multiple serious charges. Jamal Daniels of Farrington Road accused of raping a 16-year-old girl and having unlawful sexual intercourse with a 15-year-old on consecutive days in February. Prosecutors allege the 16-year-old was assaulted on February 23rd, while the 15-year-old assaulted the following day. Daniels appearing before Justice Abigail Farrington, where he's been denied bail. He was not required to enter a plea to the rape charge, but pled not guilty to the unlawful sexual intercourse charge and elected to be tried before the magistrate. He also pled not guilty to possession of forged documents after police allegedly found him with a forged NIB and driver's license when he was arrested on March 1st. All matters being adjourned to June 10th. Court records show that Daniels previously served 6 years and 1 month in prison in 2021 after pleading guilty to 4 counts of unlawful sexual intercourse involving girls he allegedly lured to his home after meeting them on Facebook. Well, it seemed to play out like a scene from the movies. One of the men charged in that brazen armed robbery captured on video and widely shared on social media, appearing in court today. The incident, which went viral online, sending shockwaves throughout the community as viewers watched the daring robbery unfold. Arlington Ritchie Jr. has the details in this report tonight.
About 15 to 30 minutes before the incident happened, and he would have been with me. them all in the back there. One, right? One more person, right? How many people in the back there? One.
31-year-old Adam Newbold, one of two men allegedly involved in a chilling armed robbery caught on tape, hauled before the magistrate's court on Monday, charged with armed robbery. His alleged accomplice still on the run. Now, while the video and two wanted posters, including Newbold's, circulated over the weekend, inside investigators confirmed to Eyewitness News the other individual is not wanted in connection with the viral robbery.
You hear me? Take your phone and your pocket.
It's true.
Where the your phone?
But I was on a call. I was on a meeting.
It's alleged that Newbold and another man whose identity remains unknown, dressed as construction workers, walked into a business establishment in the East Street South area on Thursday and reportedly snatched cash and other materials before escaping on a moped, leaving behind a trail of trauma for victims.
I come the phone. Where the phone? Give me this. That's an iPhone?
Yes, iPhone.
Don't look at me. Lay down on the ground. Lay down on the ground. 5 seconds.
What's the money?
While that video clip captured the attention of many across social media, for one local entrepreneur and justice of the peace, Dr. Felicia Archer, it felt like a case of deja vu, sparking concern of a criminal trend brewing.
It was quite obvious that there's some type of connection, there's some type of similarities. I mean, everything is almost identical. The same tone, the same language, the same weapon.
Archer, whose business is in the East Street South area, described the event she watched as nearly identical to the December 21st, 2025 incident at her store, still an open case when an individual in construction attire wreaked havoc.
He ordered the nail tech to go around the room and take and collect all cell phones and to collect the money, and he went ahead and he placed it in his backpack.
Days later, multiple items snatched from Archer's patrons were reportedly discovered at a residence she claims linking culprits to the scene. Persons in her store were contacted by authorities to come in and assist with the investigation.
They then called in some of the victims to come in to identify these persons, but once some of the victims went to identify these persons, all of a sudden the identification process was no longer happening or it was rescheduled.
Archer alleges that after that followed a series of letdowns. As she says, to date, authorities report the matter is, quote, still under investigation.
Persons from my business, they are still shaken up. I am asking for the authorities to expedite this process as soon as possible to try their endeavor best to bring justice to the victims, not just at my store, but the other store that was impacted.
Now, authorities were unable to comment on if Newbold was also being investigated for other armed robberies. However, he was not required to enter a plea during his initial arraignment. Linton Ritchie Jr., Eyewitness News.
Meantime, the 17-year-old killed in that violent knife attack on Sunday morning is identified as a 12th grade student, Jatero Foster of the St. George's High School in Freeport, Grand Bahama. Authorities say Foster was one of the 3 victims stabbed after a group of males were walking near a business establishment. When a vehicle pulled up, another group of males jumped out and began attacking the group. Foster's school expressing condolences after he was pronounced dead in hospital, saying that his presence will forever remain a part of the Jaguar family. The other 2 victims remain in hospital tonight, according to authorities. Investigations are ongoing. Meantime, the family of a 38-year-old man, Kareem Burrows, who also died as a result of a separate stabbing incident on Grand Bahama on Saturday, claims that the alleged suspect knew the deceased. The incident occurring on Saturday night in the Hebron Town community, which family members suggest was a result of a heated altercation. Speaking with Eyewitness News, the victim's cousin, Margarita Campbell, recalled being with him moments before that deadly attack, leaving her in disbelief.
About 15 to 30 minutes before the incident happened, and he would have been with me lighting a fire to shoo off the things that were flying in the air. And someone, I walk out because I heard a woo sound like an ambulance or police. And when I came out, I saw 2 of my nephews running out, and I asked them where they was going. And they said something, but I didn't hear them, so I walk out to the road from that way, coming down here, and when I got to my other cousin's house yard, I broke off running down by his grandmother because they told me he was in the yard laying down. When I got there, it was a bloody scene, and it felt like my heart left my body because me and Kareem was so close. After seeing him, I talked to him, and I said, Kareem, where you think you going, boy? Where you think you going? You better come back. And I went to the ambulance store to talk to him, and he was just laying there, unresponsive, and couldn't say nothing to me or crack joke or say baby, because everybody to him is baby. And I went here and I started telling everybody. I was crying while talking to them and letting them know, y'all think he can make it, and seeing all that blood and whatever have you.
Well, Campbell says the family, until that final moment, had been praying for Burroughs to survive, as they had just lost another close friend of the family to violence a few months prior.
My neighbor right here, a close friend, she came around. I was coming back to go out. She came around and say, he dead. I said, who dead? I said, Kareem ain't dead. Kareem just was there with me. How y'all gonna tell me he dead? His best friend just got murdered a month ago. And I was preparing, doing this program for his funeral. And he even didn't get to go to the funeral. He even didn't get to be there. It's somebody that he watch him grow up. Somebody grew up in the same neighborhood, all us from the same Town community. We row a lot in this community. Yes, but at the end of the day, everybody remember where they come from. Everybody have some kind of ties as family. So I would never expect for the person who did what he did to do what he did to Kareem. He would be remembered as a loving person. He would be remembered as the guy who always cracked jokes with people.
One more tragedy hitting Grand Bahama this weekend, as a 40-year-old man was found praying outside of his vehicle after a crash in Grand Bahama, but later became unresponsive and died from his injuries. Police say the tragedy unfolding shortly after 9 p.m. along the Grand Bahamian Way. Officers responding to the scene discovering a white 2013 Nissan Cube that had collided with a tree. The driver, who had sustained severe injuries, was found outside of that vehicle praying but became unresponsive. Emergency medical services transported him to hospital, where he was pronounced dead shortly after 11 p.m. Preliminary investigations reveal that he was traveling southbound along the Grand Bahama Way when the vehicle lured left and struck the tree. Police say an autopsy will be performed to determine the exact cause of death. Back here in the capital, a 36-year-old man also losing his life in a traffic accident early Sunday morning, according to reports shortly before 5 p.m. Authorities were alerted to a collision on Kemp Road. Responding officers found a Chevrolet Trax registration AQ9395 that crashed into a utility pole with extensive damage. Emergency services transporting that driver to hospital. He succumbed to his injuries shortly after 7 a.m. Investigations suggest that the driver lost control of his vehicle while traveling south on Kemp Road. Investigations are ongoing tonight. Well, a video showing a dog being shot by a prison officer continues to spark debate across social media. And now the Bahamas Humane Society is weighing in. Our Danielle Dean has the story tonight.
Did you see the calm and cool, swaggering way? Arm goes up, bullet diffuses, straight ahead, off we walk as if nothing has happened.
Concerned and outraged. That's how Bahamas Humane Society President Kim Arana says she felt after watching the video that appears to show a dog being shot by a prison officer. While Arana acknowledges the law requires owners to keep their dogs properly confined, she says a violation of that law does not warrant deadly force.
Yes, the dog should have been behind a fence, but you don't kill them because they weren't behind a fence. I don't shoot you if you go through a red light. I don't shoot you if you jaywalk.
Arana says any experienced dog lover can recognize animal behavior, and from what she saw in the video, the dogs were not charging at anyone and remained on their owner's property. She argues that as trained dog handlers, the officers involved should have been able to assess the situation differently.
The problem is, in the Bahamas, everybody is scared of dogs. So all a dog has to do is look at someone, they leap backwards and go, he does bite. It's insane. Anybody, I repeat, who knows anything about dogs or animals at all will tell you those dogs were not charging.
Arena also rejects the claim that the officers were acting in defense of their canine unit.
Had the service dogs that were being walked sensed any danger, they too would have reacted to a degree. Those dogs are highly trained. They're trained to sense danger. They just kept plodding along nice and peacefully.
Meanwhile, Director of Agriculture Jason Sand says the Animal Control Unit is reviewing the incident. And in a statement Sunday, Commissioner of Corrections Don Clare expressed sympathy over the incident and confirmed that an investigation is underway.
I don't trust an internal investigation because they'll protect their own people. I think there should be an independent investigation.
Arena also questioning whether officers should be walking through communities with their firearms already drawn, warning that incidents like this can erode public trust. She is now calling for a full and independent investigation, while urging authorities to consistently enforce animal control laws, not just when incidents go viral. Interviews with the officers involved were conducted Monday, and authorities say the investigation is ongoing. Danielle Tain, Eyewitness News.
Well, Prime Minister Philip Davis in the nation's second city tonight, hoping to clear the air regarding the arbitration ruling between government and the Grand Bahama Port Authority. The GBPA has been attempting to push back against government's claim victory in the case, suggesting that the ruling has not shifted or adjusted the existing regulations. Our Jose Etienne joining me live from Grand Bahama tonight with the latest on this. Jose?
Very exciting topic.
Well, Janae, I'm here live in Grand Bahama at the Belinda Wilson Convention Center, where, as you said moments ago, the country's leader, Prime Minister Philip Davis, arrived here at what's being dubbed Clearing the Air Town Hall Center as officials look to discuss the outcome of that recent arbitration process that pretty much dominated headlines since last week. Now, Janae, this was supposed to start at 7 p.m. It's pretty much just getting started. And as I asked my cameraman to go ahead and pan the camera, Janae, what's pretty much interesting is that you will see a number of individuals in the audience with political colors on. And so we're talking about an event that really should have been arguably stripped of any sort of political influence, yet you have persons here in shirts that are pretty much yellow, others in shirts that are red, some saying "we work for you." Of course, that's the FNM's slogan for its campaign. And then you have the governing PLP supporters. Those individuals have on shirts that say "we are safe with Brave." And so, Janae, again, for an event like this, it's pretty much still influenced by political strongholds, but nonetheless, we do expect for the Prime Minister to address scores of Grand Bahamians here as it relates to that arbitration process that pretty much was culminated last week, where we saw the Prime Minister reveal on Monday last week, around the same time actually, that a partial decision was handed down. And then hours later, the Grand Bahama Port Authority, critics would say they rushed to provide their findings of that outcome. And in fact, persons, the governing PLP, in fact, would argue that they were pretty much misleading with how they interpreted the findings or the outcome of that arbitration process. And so, Janae, it really boils down to wins and losses, but it's not really that easy to say who won versus who lost, because one could argue that the tribunal, the independent tribunal, really handed down defeats and disappointments to both sides, where we're talking about 7 of 8 claims being rejected. Right, against the governing party by the GBPA, whereas the government was pretty much slammed for having sluggish action on environmental bylaws as it relates to the Grand Bahama Port Authority. But let's bring it back here in the room before we delve into the information, right? The room is pretty much packed to capacity. As a matter of fact, we were pretty much expecting a room bigger than this to accommodate the number of persons, particularly here in Grand Bahama, who may have been interested in coming here to hear from the Prime Minister directly and other legal minds who are also on the panel to really weigh in and scrutinize the outcome of that proceeding. So far, it's pretty much packed to capacity. As you can see, we've shown the camera around. There are a lot of persons from this end to the other end, a number of persons in political regalia, and so we're going to expect some controversial responses. The environment could get a bit contentious at some point, as we do expect for persons to stand by their Prime Minister, whereas we do know that the opposition leader is here, Opposition Leader Michael Pintard. He's also accompanied by some sitting members of Parliament and some political hopefuls, for example, Frazier Gibson, who is the FNM candidate hopeful for the Central Grand Bahama constituency. We also know Omar Isaacs is here. He's the hopeful for the West Grand Bahama constituency. As we said, the Prime Minister is accompanied by a number of sitting government officials. And so, Janae, it's going to be quite an interesting night. We're going to see if this town hall meeting ends up being a contentious one or if it ends up being a rather peaceful one where persons are able to have a fair exchange without being so pretty much contentious or cantankerous with each other. And so it's going to be a long night, but the night is still young. A number of officials are here, as we said. The moderator has already taken the podium. The Prime Minister, obviously, sitting on the podium. He's accompanied with a number of legal minds. And so, Janae, in a moment, we're really going to get in the thick of things as we continue to scrutinize the outcome of that arbitration process that pretty much unfolded last week. And since then, Janae, it's pretty much dominated headlines. And so we're really, as we said, going to get in the thick of things. And we're going to have a recap about all that's going to unfold tonight in a later newscast. We'll be sure to bring it back to you at some point during the course of the night. As we said, the night is still early. For now, I'm Jose Etienne, sending it back to you, Janelle.
Thanks so much. Our Jose Etienne joining us live from Grand Bahama tonight. We'll have more details on that town meeting later on in this newscast. Well, the St. John's College principal and former Assistant Police Commissioner Quinn McCartney has resumed his duties following the completion of an internal investigation by the Anglican Central Education Authority. The inquiry was launched after a video surfaced showing McCartney with his hands around the neck of a female during the school's Mardi Gras event. The incident captured on camera last month prompted a 2-week investigation by the board, during which McCartney was off duty and was acting principal who was overseeing the school. Sources telling Eyewitness News that the female in the video was not a student of any of the Anglican schools and that the altercation left a St. Anne's student injured. A recent letter to Eyewitness News, reportedly from associates of St. John's College, called for McCartney's removal and cited other instances in which he allegedly aggressively had another incident with a teacher. However, Eyewitness News has learned that McCartney was reportedly attempting to de-escalate a confrontation involving school officials, which led him shouting and holding back a teacher from St. John's. Insiders say the final decision on McCartney's employment will be made after police complete their portion of the investigation. It's a story we are continuing to follow tonight. Well, criticisms now looming regarding the voter registration process ahead of the 2026 general election. Free National Movement candidate Senator Michael Barnett Ellis says, according to constituents, the long wait times for registration or simple location adjustments have been a major discouragement to completing that process. She says she hopes the Parliamentary Registration Department will expand its services in Killarney, given it's one of the more populated constituencies.
So some of the feedback I'm getting with relation to voter registration is the length of time that it takes to happen. Right now, we only have 2 voter registration stations in Killarney. That's at the Cable Beach Post Office and at Gambia Primary. It looked as if they might open one in St. Paul's. That hasn't quite happened yet. So people are experiencing long wait times. There are also concerns about the geo-pinning, because if you're not familiar with Google Maps, sometimes it's difficult for people to locate their house on the screen. But for the most part, it has been going well. And when we've reached out to the Parliamentary Registration Department to raise those concerns, they have been very responsive in terms of helping individuals to register or to correct mistakes in terms of where they're located.
Now, with biometric cards being rolled out for a few constituencies, including Killarney, Barnett Ellis says she hopes for a smooth rollout process, but believes the new change can create apprehension among voters.
I'm anxious to see how that goes. We'll have to wait and see. I know most people who are in Killarney have lived in Killarney for a long period of time and didn't necessarily have to verify or to come into contact with the Parliamentary Registration Department. So I'm not sure how many persons have signed up for biometric cards in Killarney, given that they had their purple voters card. There was really no need for them to go and sit and wait one evening at the post office.
The verdict is still out regarding whether sitting members of Parliament, cabinet ministers, senators, and senior government officials met the public disclosure deadline of December 31st of last year. Eyewitness News understands that though the committee has not had a full meeting to discuss those who've not met that deadline, submissions are being reviewed. Chairman of the Public Disclosure Committee, Bishop Victor Cooper, when contacted, says he's unable to provide an update or any particulars regarding submissions. Eyewitness News understands that Prime Minister Philip Philip Davis submitted his declaration on time, as well as Cabinet Minister Senator Michael Halkitis and all members of the Free National Movement. Under the Public Disclosure Act in the Bahamas, all public officials, including those aforementioned, must declare their assets, income, and liability by December 31st of each year. Now, those who fail to comply, they face fines of up to $10,000 or 2 years imprisonment. Well, applications for some business license are being denied as authorities say not all entrepreneurs are seeking approval for businesses in appropriate locations. The communications manager at the Department of Inland Revenue says some applicants are having their requests rejected by the Department of Physical Planning due to zoning restrictions. He adds that both agencies are now working more closely to ensure businesses are properly placed in the approved areas across the country.
Our departments and agencies are working together more often, especially physical planning. And I can tell you that every other week or every other month, there's an agenda, there's a new agenda, there's a change. 2 years ago, you could have received a physical planning approval for nail tech or hair salon. Now you can't. And, they spoke to the fumes and the environment. So every month or so, there's an update. What we try to get physical planning to do and our agencies to do is to promote and educate persons. So we're getting calls every day. Oh, I was denied by physical planning. I have to call physical planning. They say, oh, there was an update. So we're working together.
The department is also highlighting that the liquor industry has been among the sectors most affected by these changes.
And that is a big thing that is happening now, specifically with liquor sales now. There's the new liquor registration, and that is now taking a toll and involves a lot of approvals all over again for persons that sell liquor, restaurants, all of the sort, right? And that has actually put responsibility on the Department of Inland Revenue more than physical planning now, because as simple as owning something that sells liquor 700 feet from a school or church should not be allowed. So when you're applying for that, that is something that's going to be considered. And when you're trying to get your renewal, it is now something that is considered. And you will not receive your renewal if you do not have the liquor registration. And when you're applying for a new one, selling liquor, we ask that you do it 90 days in advance before your intended start date. The process has now changed.
Well, building a home in the Bahamas is getting more expensive, but mortgage lending has been rising, with banks approving more loans for construction and repairs. The question is whether everyday Bahamians will actually benefit. Mortgage commitments for new construction and home repairs jumping to some 73.6% to $74.1 million in the fourth quarter of last year, this according to the central bank. At the same time, the average residential mortgage rate eased slightly to some 6.0%. Eyewitness News turning to social media, posing the question, do you think increased mortgage lending will make it easier for Bahamians to build or repair homes? 6% of participants voting yes, more lending should help more people access financing. 84% voted only if banks makes loans more accessible to the average Bahamian. 10% voted no, most mortgages still go to higher income borrowers, and 0% voted that you were unsure. Well, be sure to continue to participate in our daily digital polls as your voice matters. Well, we've just added another access point to make sure you're up to date with news. Follow the Eyewitness News WhatsApp channel, but by scanning the QR code on your screen or visiting our social media pages for a direct link. While you're there, don't forget to follow Eyewitness News on Instagram or Facebook. Be sure to follow. If you've got a news tip or if you've seen news in the making, call the Eye News hotline at 397-6397. We also invite you to send your letters to the editor for publication on all of our social media platforms, Eyewitness News Bahamas @gmail.com. And if you're watching on our Facebook or YouTube page, share your thoughts about today's stories in the comments section. We want to hear from you. We're just getting started in Eyewitness News tonight, but when we come back, it's a new home for employees of Port Royal Caribbean International. We've got the details coming up, and later tonight, we've got a newer look at what's happening with a new power project. We've got the details right after this break.
Vibes is resilience in motion. So even when things go out of sync, we do what it takes to bring the vibes back. At BTC, we understand your vibes because we live it. That's why we are dedicated to building a network as resilient as you, with a team of familiar faces working every day to keep you on beat. You are at the heart of everything we do. Our commitment is to keep your vibes flowing, no matter what.
Got that crispy onions crunch, take a bite, it's a smile. Sweet onion sauce drip, happy running down my side. Pepper jack cheese, bring a little playful wild. Brioche bun soft like a cloud on this ride. Oh, let's get chicky with it. Hey, taste the sweet side of things. Every single bite, so lit. Got my whole crew doing their thing. Crispy onion, sweet onion sauce. Pepper jack cheese, going all. Brioche bun, sitting pretty. Let's get
KFC, it's finger licking good.
Bahamian ownership in fly fishing is very important. Not only does it create opportunities for Bahamians, this is our industry, so we're proud of what we do. Opportunity is important. It's the story of my life because with the opportunities, you can chart your own course. Prime Minister Davis and his team see the opportunities by providing these grants and what it can do for our country. It's just wonderful, and I'm glad to see these ventures working so that other people can get involved. This is real. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's help ourselves.
There are a lot of new opportunities in our country. We are building an economy that includes everyone. And you chose to come to BTVI.
The best place to learn.
Expanding and updating BTVI.
It prepared me for the future to be an entrepreneur.
And this is what this is all about. We are creating more opportunities for more Bahamians because opportunity is the key to success.
Life moves fast, and the best moments happen when you get more from every connection.
Boy, life come true, eh? Appreciate it.
When your world is connected, more convenience comes naturally, so you can keep moving with more freedom and less interruption. From real-time updates to everyday essentials, you stay more in sync with life. Because when time matters, more reliability keeps you one step ahead. From home to work and everywhere life takes you, our network is built for more.
Yes, we got everything secured in the cloud.
Driven by a network built for today and designed to deliver more possibilities tomorrow.
Oh, how we getting ya?
Where entertainment is more immersive.
Who's again?
Hey, watching the game.
And real-life moments come with more access instantly. This is connectivity that feels out of this world. Join the family and experience more. It's good to be alive.
This segment of Eyewitness News is brought to you by EV Motors Fleet Sales Division. For 2026 commercial vehicles, call 821-2403 today.
Look at your Eyewitness News gas tracker, $5.45 at Esso tonight. Rubis and Shell both at $5.31, your local prices at the pump. Well, as the days go by, uncertainty growing around what gas prices could look like amid the U.S.-Iran war. Our Danielle Dean has an update in this report.
A global conflict disrupting oil markets is reigniting the urgency for the Bahamas to reduce its dependence on imported fuel, as the government pushes toward a target of 30% renewable energy by 2030. Officials say expanding solar power and other alternative energy sources could help shield the country from the volatility of global oil prices. But for now, Petroleum Retailers Association Vice President Vasco Bastian says, while he doesn't expect gas prices to climb above $7 per gallon in the near future, the longer global tensions continue, the more uncertain the outlook could become.
All that determines on how long the war lasts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because remember now, all of those military vehicles, they use diesel or gas. So that could also be another factor that plays into the overall cost.
Electric vehicles and solar energy also being discussed as part of the longer-term shift away from fossil fuels, with supporters saying these options could reduce the country's exposure to global fuel price swings.
I'm not going to 100% endorse electric vehicles like that. I'm in the fuel business, and I say they both could coexist. To say that we should all go to electric vehicles would be shooting myself and all of my business and everybody out of bit who in this industry in the foot. We're not advocating that. I'm not advocating for that at all. I say we could both coexist.
Still, Bastian says Bahamians should not fear an immediate fuel shortage unless there are catastrophic developments in global supply chains.
All three of the major wholesalers, Esso, Shell, and Rubus, their inventory level is always at a minimum of probably 65 to 70%. So it never goes below 50%. So there's always adequate inventory to supply the motoring public in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Much of the world's oil moves through major international shipping routes, including the Strait of Hormuz, a narrow waterway between Oman and Iran, where about 20% of global oil and gas transport passes. Disruptions in that region since the start of the war have created concerns among some importers about potential supply delays and rising transportation costs. Meanwhile, the Minister of Economic Affairs says government is taking a wait-and-see approach, while remaining hopeful that gas prices will remain stable for Bahamian consumers. Danielle Teen, Eyewitness News.
Well, amid those rising tensions between the U.S. and several Middle Eastern countries and growing concern about how these developments could impact international trade and local businesses, Don Williams, chair of the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce, is urging Bahamian entrepreneurs and business owners to consider diversifying their trade partners, emphasizing the importance of exploring alternative markets beyond the U.S.
So you would have seen over the past few years, we've done a tremendous amount of trade missions. We want the business community, any entrepreneur, to understand that there are various opportunities to not just trade directly with the U.S. because of our proximity, but whether it is India, even some of our Caribbean partners, Dominican Republic, Cuba. So we provide you with an avenue to seek some of those new trade routes and opportunities.
Employees at Royal Caribbean's Perfect Day at Coco Key are getting a major upgrade to their living conditions. Executives opening the doors to the first 2 new state-of-the-art accommodations. Arlinton Ritchie Jr. has the details tonight.
A $60 million investment is transforming how hundreds of Bahamian workers live at Royal Caribbean's Perfect Day at Coco Key with the opening of 2 new staff housing buildings. The facilities are part of a 6-building housing project designed to provide modern accommodations for employees who keep the private destination running daily. The 1-bedroom suites, complete with shared bathrooms, are modeled after crew cabins found on board Royal Caribbean ships, giving team members a comfortable space to rest after long shifts. For many employees, the new housing represents a long-awaited upgrade.
Oh man, it was a long time coming.
It feels like a hotel. It feels like a cabin on board. The new accommodations is great. We have a very great view.
With more than 750 team members currently working on Coco Key, Royal Caribbean's Bahamas president, Philip Simon, thanked staff for their contributions, saying the new accommodations reflect the company's investment in the people who power the operation.
These facilities are designed to create a more comfortable and supportive environment for our employees, enhancing their day-to-day experience and ensuring they feel valued, inspired, and proud to be a part of the team.
For longtime employee Tyrone Sawyer, a gas-experienced tram driver who has been working on the quay for nearly 2 decades, the new facilities represent just how far the operation has come.
Right now, it's like so comfortable, you don't have any roommates. After 11 hours of work, you can just come home. You don't have to worry but know your roommate, waking you up conversations with their family, so it's very peaceful.
Restaurant attendant Cordell and bar server Merveline also calls the new housing a major upgrade, saying the accommodations offer a greater sense of comfort and a feeling of home.
Very good experience. It's amazing. From where I started in 2023 is very different from now.
Very beautiful. We had a lovely scene, and it's way better than what we started at 2023.
Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Aviation and Investments Chester Cooper praised Royal Caribbean for contributing to investing in the Bahamas, noting that projects like these strengthen the country's tourism product.
There is a mark of economic growth and progress and a signal, as you see behind us, that there's going to be even more happening.
The remaining 4 housing buildings are expected to be completed by the end of summer, a move that will allow more than 800 employees to transition from the old facilities into the new modern accommodations. Linton Ritchie Jr., Eyewitness News.
Well, Bahamians may have to wait a few more months before getting a chance to invest in Royal Caribbean International's $200 million Royal Beach Club at Paradise Island, with the project's president indicating the long-anticipated initial public offering is likely still several months away. Under the project's ownership structure, Royal Caribbean will retain a 51% majority stake, while Bahamian interests will hold the remaining 49%. The government's portion will be based on the value of 4 acres of crown land contributed to the 17-acre development, with Bahamian investors expected to purchase the balance through the public offering. RCI Bahamas President Philip Simon says while the organization understands the anticipation by potential investments, the company wants to build their track record here in country.
It's going to be the hottest ticket in town when it comes about. We are working diligently to try to really, again, dot the I's and cross the T's on that. We're probably going to put a couple of months of operations underneath our belt so that by the time we get to that, probably later this year, there's some other things that are brewing nationally as well. And so we want to stay focused on what it is that we have to do. So another several months before we get to that. I can't commit to a particular time, but we have been in active conversations with the government with regards to that.
Simon maintains that as the beach club is already open, operations remain high, and the private key is well on its way to becoming a world-class destination.
The ratings have been incredible. You know, we're very, very attentive to the needs of the guests, and satisfaction is what drives our business. We have been getting really excellent ratings straight across the board. And so, again, very happy with that.
Entrepreneurship in the Bahamas is growing, with many small business owners still facing challenges. But some organizations are stepping in to help with these hurdles and operate legally. Rebecca Bain has the details tonight.
Entrepreneurship in the Bahamas continues to grow, with more than 23,000 businesses now licensed across the country. But officials say a number of entrepreneurs are still operating without a business license.
Persons have dreams of owning their businesses, and usually when we do that, we wake up, we call our cousin who's good with graphics. You know, we create the graphic Instagram page, Facebook, and we start operating. But what we want you to do at Inland Revenue is to become legal and compliant.
And while obtaining a new business license is now free, the Department of Inland Revenue says some entrepreneurs are still failing to comply, a move they warn can create serious legal and financial challenges.
The persons need to understand that compliance is a very serious thing in our country. It is something that is needed across the board. If you are operating a business, or you want to get a loan, or you want to do something with the bank, the first thing they're going to ask you for is your business license. And if you cannot produce that, then you're starting from ground zero.
Meanwhile, officials say some entrepreneurs are taking the necessary steps to operate legally. However, some business owners says barriers such as access to funding, training, and resources can still make entrepreneurship difficult.
Many inner city entrepreneurs, the challenge is not the lack of ideas or ambition, it is access. Access to the right information, access to guidance, access to resources to formalize and grow their businesses.
Organizations like the Small Business Development Center says its programs such as the Empower Project are designed to help close that gap.
Participants will receive practical business training, they will receive mentorship, and they will receive step-by-step guidance through licensing and compliance with our centralized Fix Your Business drive. For participants who successfully complete the program milestones, there is the opportunity to access the Empower Micro Grant of up to $5,000.
For entrepreneur Jatasha Prosper, who grew up in the inner city, programs like these can be life-changing.
With this launch, I feel like I am able to build my business and bring it out more on a bigger and wider level. And I feel like it's good, especially for a lot of young and small business owners, because nowadays it's kind of sort of hard for small business owners to branch off their businesses on a wider scale.
And while entrepreneurship continues to grow in the Bahamas, officials say the next step is ensuring business owners both operate legally and have access to the tools they need to succeed. Rebecca Bain, Eyewitness News.
Thanks, Rebecca. Well, this week, the skies aren't just for the boys. Women in aviation, they're taking flight, celebrating the women breaking barriers, soaring in the cockpit, and inspiring the next generation of aviators right here in the Bahamas. Our Laurentia Smith has this feature tonight.
American aviator Amelia Earhart once said, "Flying may not always be plain sailing, but the fun of it is worth the price." And this week, the spirit of aviation is being celebrated around the world during Women of Aviation Worldwide Week.
Happy Women in Aviation Week!
Here in the Bahamas, the Women in Aviation International Bahamas chapter is also taking part, highlighting the growing role of women in the aviation sector. Vice President Atalia Seymour.
March 8th, that the first woman attained her pilot's license. So we in the Bahamas also celebrated to pay homage to the significant work that she has done for aviation.
That woman was Raymond de la Roche, the first woman to earn a pilot license, opening the skies for women around the world, and here at home, including Frances Smith, Gwendolyn Ritchie, and Gail Saunders. Secretary Aramantha Hepburn on the other Bahamian pioneers.
Of women who were a pioneer as well, one being Elaine Corrin, the other Miss Patricia Washington, who was known to be Bahamas Air's first inaugural pilot, and also she went on to become UPS's cargo freight pilot.
The Bahamas chapter was founded back in September of 2025, is a part of a global network of more than 170 chapters across 23 countries, working to inspire and support women in aviation. But the industry has long been seen as a man's playground. Membership Director Elaine Foster knows all too well, having spent more than 40 years in the field.
But once you get in here, you develop a passion, because when I first started out, I didn't see this as a lifetime job. But once, as my predecessors would say, once you smell the airline fuel and you know it to get in your nostrils, you never want to leave.
Just like media, aviation offers many career paths, from pilots to flight deck and cabin crew, to vital support roles like air traffic controllers. Outreach Director Andrea Wood share more about the field.
It's one of those industries that encompass so many other industries. For instance, we're sitting here on the plane. This plane has to have interior design. We have lighting. We have sound control for our sound systems, PA systems in the airport.
The chapter says partners like the Lyndon Pinling International Airport, U.S. Custom and Border Protection, and United Airlines make their work easier, helping to inspire the next generation of women in aviation. Treasurer Alexandria Stewart.
Never let anyone tell you that the sky is not for you. Train boldly, stay focused. One day the sky, you won't just be looking up. You will eventually fly through it.
Laurentia Smith, Eyewitness News.
Well, the journalism community is mourning the loss tonight of veteran broadcaster Sabrina Brown, who passed away on March 8th. At the time of her death, she served as the director of radio for ZNS Northern Service. Sabrina fought a long battle with cancer, using her journey to inspire others through a popular radio show and other volunteer programs. She made a lasting impact in the community of Grand Bahama, where she spent years reporting and anchoring the news, leaving a legacy as a passionate journalist dedicated to making a difference in the lives of many. Condolences are extended to her family tonight. Well, still to come in Eyewitness News, our political watch, another candidate in the hot seat. We've got the details, but first, a check on tonight's weather forecast.
for insurance that fits your lifestyle and your budget? At Star General Insurance, we've got you covered. Whether it's motor insurance with flexible options for third-party liability and comprehensive coverage, or commercial insurance products that protect your business, we have choices you can afford. Own a home or renting? Our home insurance products have just what you need. And for the adventurers out there, we offer marine insurance too. Visit our website or social media pages for contact information and quotes. Star General, insurance made simple.
Comfort Suites Paradise Island is the best kept secret in the Bahamas. Located directly next door to the Atlantis Resort, you'll receive all the privileges of an Atlantis guest with all the benefits of a Comfort Suite stay. Enjoy everything Atlantis has to offer, including Aquaventure Water Park, plus all the amenities of Comfort Suites. Free Wi-Fi, free breakfast daily, and kids stay, play, and eat free. Visit ComfortSuitesPI.com.
At the Water and Sewage Corporation, safety and convenience are our top priorities. However, our meter readers face challenges that can make their job difficult. Locked gates to guard dogs sometimes leads to missed readings and estimated bills, which can be frustrating for you and us. That's why we're upgrading to digital meters. They bring safety, accuracy, and convenience to homes across the Bahamas. We can streamline data collection, reduce on-site visits, and provide more accurate bills with no more estimates. Digital meters also help detect leaks early, saving you from costly bills and reducing water waste. Soon, a user-friendly app will let you track your water usage, manage bills, and stay informed, all at your fingertips. Over the next year, we're rolling out digital meters nationwide, transforming how we serve you with a safer and cost-efficient water supply. To learn about our digital meters, visit our website or call us today. And don't forget to update your information at any of our locations.
Looking to save this March? Look no further. Shop the specials at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Seabass tuna, 5 ounces, 84 cents. Green cabbage, 99 cents per pound. Riceland parboiled rice, 5 pounds, $3.89. Hellman's mayonnaise, 30 ounces, $7.59. Chicken leg quarters, 10-pound bag, $1.15 per pound. Turn shopping madness into saving gladness when you shop the specials at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
At BOB, we take pride in our business banking.
I chose Bank of the Bahamas because it was a Bahamian-owned bank. The bank has certainly supported our evolution through overdraft facilities, purchasing of equipment, facilitating of salary payments, and I really believe that Bank of the Bahamas is able to help in the development of the local economy. I would truly recommend the services at Bank of the Bahamas.
103.5 is turning 8 years old. 103.5 The Beat and Keep the Vibe Alive Music Group presents The Beat Fest. It's a Bahamian musical experience on March 14th at The Pond. Doors open 7 p.m. sharp. Performing live, Shine, Stevie S, Mama D, Veronica Bishop, Funky D, all backed up by The Pond Band. Hosted by Joe Cools, 1K Gaza, and Jess Mo. Music by 103.5 The Beat DJ. Tickets available now at all Beauty Shack locations. General admission, $30. VIP, $75. Get your tickets early. Spots are limited. Sponsored by Mazzari International, The Plug, and The Beauty Shack. And of course, 103.5 The Beat.
Eyewitness Sports is brought to you by 103.5 The Beat.
Welcome to another edition of Eyewitness Sports. I'm Laurencia Smith. Thanks for joining us. Topping sports tonight on your mark, get set, go. We're trackside for the BAISS 2026 Championships. The Thomas A. Robinson National Stadium is buzzing as the BAISS Championship battle intensifies. Arch rivals St. Augustine's College and Queens College are fighting for the top spot. The Big Red Machine lead the pack with a commanding 418.5 points, while the Comets trail in second with 362 points. Tampa Christian High School holds steady in third with 175.5 points, and St. John's round up the top four with 131.5 points. Now, the championships will wrap up on March 11th. Definitely stay tuned to Eyewitness Sports for the latest highlights. Now, let's head on over to the pool deck. The 36-member team has been named to defend the Bahamas' 8th consecutive Carifta Swim crown at the 2026 Carifta Swim Championships. The team will feature some new and familiar faces. Among those in the girls 11-12 age group, Isabella Munro and Grace Nottage, while over in the girls 13-14 category will feature Sienna Campbell and Skylar Smith, while over in the girls 15-17 group, Sienna Isaac and Madison Gilbert will also compete. For the boys, Sion Morris and Breon Stewart will swim in the 11-12 age group. Also, the team will feature Kriston Joseph and Harold Simmons, and Donald Saunders and Davis Song will swim in the 15-17 category. Now, the coaching team will also feature Trevano McPhee, assisted by Latheria Forbes, Ashton Knowles, Cameron Brewery will take the helm for the open water events. Supporting staff include team manager Karen Pinder Johnson and female chaperone Kashira Cooper and male chaperone Melvin Roll. The stage is set for an exciting showdown in both the pool and the championship arena. Well, that's what's making sports at this hour. I'm Laurencia Smith. Stay tuned for more news on the other side of the break.
I go into the shop and what I see, the things what they trying to sell for tea. I come to bring it back where I get it from, and then they tell me they don't give refund. I say, girl, who is you? I want my money back cause this thing ain't new. She tell me slide out, move off the line. I ain't gonna lie, nearly lose my mind. Time now, I just trying to get straight, you know, but they want rob me, but I don't know. So I walk off, go out of the sight, cause that's enough robbery for me in one night. March off like a marching man. Call Consumer Protection Commission. When they pick up, I file a complaint, and quick as that, I get my money back. But don't mess with the CPC. Don't mess with the CPC. Hey, don't mess with the CPC. Cause why? They here to protect me. Follow the Consumer Protection Commission Bahamas Facebook page to stay up to date on tips that protect you as a consumer. It's your boy, the Immune Trick.
Very dry, tight, sensitive skin? Relieve it in 60 seconds with Aveeno Skin Relief. With soothing triple oat complex, clinically proven to heal and strengthen dry skin. Aveeno, your skin stronger.
Don't let diarrhea steal your sunshine. Imodium Multi-Symptom Relief gets to work fast in just 1 hour, offering our most complete relief from diarrhea, bloating, gas, and cramps. So you can get diarrhea off your mind. Imodium. Calm the chaos of diarrhea.
For more than 3 decades, the Bahamas Bridal Show has made dreams come true, all on a single day in a ballroom decorated wall to wall. Meet Forting Wedding and Home Suppliers, giving away thousands of dollars in great prizes while you enjoy a fashion show, wedding demonstrations, food, and champagne sampling. Someone to Love comes to Bahamas Grand Hyatt, 2 p.m. Sunday, March 22nd. Purchase tickets for this spectacular wedding and event show at bahamasevents.net or call 421-9783.
What you saying? Girl, right here, rushing to cash J.S. Johnson. I gotta renew my insurance. Oh, I with JSJ too, but I don't wait in line. I just pay online. Stop it. How you do that? Just email info@jsjohnson.com and say, sign me up for the online service center. They'll reach out and hook you up. You ain't never have to stand in line again. Amen to that. Save time. Pay online. Sign up for J.S. Johnson's online service center today.
Insurance, peace of mind. Some burgers are simple. The Barbecue Crispy King, this one goes all in. Smoky barbecue sauce, crispy bacon, flame grilled beef, stacked high flavor in every bite. In Nassau, we don't do small, and we definitely don't do boring. And when morning hits, the Breakfast Barbecue Crispy King has that bam to start the day. Burger King Nassau, triple down on big flavor.
You're watching Eyewitness News.
Well, that wraps up news at this hour, but coming up and beyond the headlines with Shanique Miller, we are back in Grand Bahama at that town meeting over the arbitration ruling from the courts between government and the Grand Bahama Port Authority. Our Jose Etienne is live tonight. That's coming up and beyond the headlines. It starts right after this. That does it for us here at Eyewitness News. It's certainly been a pleasure having you in our company tonight. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Janae Nawal saying good night and be safe, everyone.
103.5 is turning 8 years old. 103.5 The Beat and Keep the Vibe Alive Music Group presents The Beat Fest. It's a Bahamian musical experience on March 14th at The Pond. Doors open 7 p.m. sharp. Performing live, Shine, Stevie S, Mama D, Veronica Bishop, Funky D. All backed up by the Pond Band. Hosted by Joe Cools, 1K Gaza, and Jess Mo. Music by 103.5 The Beat DJ. Tickets available now at all Beauty Shack locations. General admission, 30. VIP, 75. Get your tickets early. Spots are limited. Sponsored by Mazzari International, The Plug, and The Beauty Shack. And of course, 103.5 The Beat.
The Fox Foundation proudly presents the keynote speaker for the 3rd Annual Women's Entrepreneurship Initiative, this March 19th at 7 p.m. at the beautiful Bahamas Resort. Get ready to be inspired by Randy Zuckerberg, tech innovator and the creator of Facebook Live. She revolutionized real-time digital engagement, empowering individuals and brands to broadcast instantly to global audiences. And now she brings that innovation and insight to the Fox Foundation's 3rd Annual Women's Entrepreneurship Initiative, March 19th at 7 p.m. at the Bahamas Resort. Under this year's theme, Give to Gain, join us for a night designed to inspire growth, spark opportunity, and strengthen the future of women in business.
Education officials, including Education Minister Glennis Hannah Martin, visited the Meridian School and were warmly welcomed in song. Minister Hannah Martin reminded all students and teachers to stay encouraged and thanked all parents and faculty.
I want to thank the teachers who are here. Everywhere we go, we say that we have a national movement of teachers, no matter where they are. They're in classrooms doing the same thing, the same objective and goal with these children. So I want to thank you and pledge my support for the work that you do and my admiration and respect. This is why we're here, to really encourage this school and the teachers here and the young people, the students, the boys and girls, to do the best you can and to be all that you can be.
Director of the Meridian School, Lisa Sawyer McCartney, explained to us what sets them apart.
I think one of the big things for us is our commitment to character development and to building confidence in our students. Our students we have 190 odd very talented, very confident young boys and girls.
The School Student of the Year nominee, Safari Hannah, gave tips to her peers on becoming a future Student of the Year nominee.
I would tell them to be respectful and to be kind and try their best on their work and try to get good grades on their work.
I'm Pradhan Wilson, and this is our talk.
103.5 is turning 8 years old. 103.5 The Beat and Keep the Vibe Alive Music Group presents The Beat Fest. It's a Bahamian musical experience on March 14th at The Pond. Doors open 7 p.m. sharp. Performing live, Shine, Stevie S, Mama D, Veronica Bishop, Funky D. All backed up by the Pond Band. Hosted by Joe Cools, 1K Gaza, and Jess Mo. Music by 103.5 The Beat DJ. Tickets available now at all Beauty Shack locations. General admission, 30. VIP, 75. Get your tickets early. Spots are limited. Sponsored by Mazzari International, The Plug, and The Beauty Shack. And of course, 103.5 The Beat.
The Fox Foundation proudly presents the keynote speaker for the 3rd Annual Women's Entrepreneurship Initiative, this March 19th at 7 p.m. at the beautiful Bahamas Resort. Get ready to be inspired by Randy Zuckerberg, tech innovator and the creator of Facebook Live. She revolutionized real-time digital engagement, empowering individuals and brands to broadcast instantly to global audiences. And now she brings that innovation and insight to the Fox Foundation's 3rd Annual Women's Entrepreneurship Initiative, March 19th at 7 p.m. at the Bahamas Resort. Under this year's theme, Give to Gain, join us for a night designed to inspire growth, spark opportunity, and strengthen the future of women in business.
Education officials, including Education Minister Hannah Martin, visited the Meridian School and were warmly welcomed in song. Minister Hannah Martin reminded all students and teachers to stay encouraged and thanked all parents and faculty.
I want to thank the teachers who are here. Everywhere we go, we say that we have a national movement of teachers. No matter where they are, they're in classrooms doing the same thing, the same objective and goal with these children. So I want to thank you and pledge my support for the work that you do and my admiration and respect. This is why we're here, to really encourage this school and the teachers here and the young people, the students, the boys and girls, to do the best you can and to be all that you can be.
Director of the Meridian School, Lisa Sawyer McCartney, explained to us what sets them apart.
I think one of the big things for us is our commitment to character development and to building confidence in our students. We have 190 odd very talented, very confident young boys and girls.
The School Student of the Year nominee, Safari Hannah, gave tips to her peers on becoming a future Student of the Year nominee.
I would tell them to be respectful and to be kind and try their best in their work and try to get good grades on their work.
I'm Pryden Wilson, and this is our talk.
103.5 is turning 8 years old. 103.5 The Beat and Keep the Vibe Alive Music Group presents.
Comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
Not letting up, Prime Minister Davis in Grand Bahama tonight to drive home the government's position on the arbitration ruling last week. Also tonight, a 37-year-old man posing as a model scout only to sexually assault 2 teenage girls. And a video of a dog being shot by a prison officer viral this weekend. with many people expressing varying views on the issue. And so what were your thoughts when you saw the video? Hold that right there. We'll get to it a little bit later tonight. This is Beyond the Headlines. Good evening. I'm Shanique Miller. It's great to have you along this evening. Well, Prime Minister Davis is in the nation's second city tonight. He's there hoping to clear the air regarding the arbitration ruling between the Grand Bahama Port Authority and the government. The Grand Bahama Port Authority has pushed back against the government's claim to victory in this case, suggesting that the ruling has not shifted or adjusted the existing regulations. Jose Etienne is in Grand Bahama this evening. I am hoping that we have him queued up and ready to go. Jose, this issue has gotten a lot of attention from people in Grand Bahama and outside Grand Bahama. To get him as we move on this evening, but we will start right there and discuss that issue. Before we do, in fact, Opposition Leader Michael Pintard says an F&M administration would enforce a review provision of the Hawksbill Creek Agreement. Pintard says if the government is spending more money in Grand Bahama than is being collected, and if the law makes provision for us to collect the difference, Pintard says an F&M government will be interested on behalf of the Bahamian people in getting that money in the public purse and going towards the treasury, no doubt. And so we're going to start right there this evening. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines, Ellington Ferguson. Ellington, good evening to you, Beyond the Headlines contributor. It's good to have you here. A lot going on with that Grand Bahama Port Authority. Well, actually, the arbitration ruling involving the government and the Grand Bahama Port Authority, and not letting up this evening. That town meeting is happening as we speak in Grand Bahama.
It's a very interesting turn of events. Good evening, Shanique, and good evening, Bahamas. Certainly, it's a pleasure to be here once again to lend my voice to the issues that concerning our country. This is a very, very serious issue. This is a very heavy weight that the Prime Minister is taking up, and I must commend him on taking this up and dealing with this. It's been many years that there's been this back and forth with the port as to what the port authority is, what their powers are. And we've been talking about whether the port is still relevant, whether it is still good for Grand Bahama. Is the port in this stage of its life in the best interests of Freeport and Grand Bahama at large? And so I must commend the Prime Minister for taking this up and to deal with this issue. A lot of people look at this from the standpoint that he lost going after the
357 million.
Exactly. And
old taxes,
right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people missed the Grand Bahamas Port ruling, which did not outrightly state that the government is not owed this money, but apparently is some things the government get to do to assert as to the breakdown of how this money is owed. So this isn't over yet, and so Prime Minister Davis is doing a commendable job in going and getting this sorted out. You remember we had the issue, I think it was last year or year before, when they had the wrangling about who controls the power in Grand Bahama, whether IRCA had any authority. Well, obviously you saw the arbitration sort that out. And so yes, we cannot have, while there are certain agreements as it relates to the Hawksbill Creek Agreement, we cannot have two governments in one country. And so this must be sorted out. All of the agreement, everything must be laid out clear, and there must be no gray areas going forward from this. And I hope that this brings out a lot of things, that the port will now have a clearer understanding of how far its authority go, and the government will have a more clear authority as to know what they can and cannot do.
Well, by anyone's guess and measure, there needs to be some sort of revisiting to the table and a modernization, a shifting of what the might and power and authority of the Grand Bahama Port Authority is.
Absolutely. And so my thing is, even though this body was given some authority to develop, I think that must never come to a point where to say that we can develop or we can run this in the absence of the government overlooking or having any hand in it. That is still a city that is in the Bahamas. Yes, you have been given your mandate or your agreement to develop that city, but it cannot be done independently and on the outside of the government of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
What do you suppose this meeting, I mean, the Prime Minister is tripling down on this. I wouldn't even say doubling down, because initially there was a news conference. This is last week. Later that evening, there was a live national address. The following morning, there was an address in the House of Assembly. And now this evening, the Prime Minister trekked to Grand Bahama to be a part of a town meeting that was planned, apparently, to be a part of that, to speak directly to the people of Freeport, Grand Bahama about this deal. Why do you suppose that he is ensuring that there's no misunderstandings and that the people must understand exactly what this is? In fact, we have Jose right now this evening. Jose is live in that town hall meeting. Good evening to you, Jose.
Report from the tribunal and then deal with 2 points.
Well, Shanique, I'm here live at the Belinda Wilson Convention Center here in Grand Bahama, where there's a town hall meeting that's currently underway. It's being called Clearing the Air as it relates to a recent arbitration process that culminated just last week. The outcome was revealed sometime last week, pretty much a week ago. And a week later, we see the Prime Minister, Philip Davis, along with sitting government officials and opposition leaders here in Grand Bahama, pretty much scrutinizing the outcome of this arbitration process. Now, Shanique, since last week, since it was revealed, we know that both parties pretty much rushed to intimate what the outcome of the arbitration process was. In some cases, Shanique, it's not really that easy to say who emerged the victor versus who emerged the loser, so to speak, right? Because the reality is, Shanique, the independent arbitrators handed disappointments and disappointing outcomes to both parties. For example, we see that the Davis administration pretty much lost its bid trying to sue the Grand Bahama Port Authority of some $357 million in reimbursements. But aside from that, liability has been established, and so that's a win for the Davis administration, whereas for the GBPA, they pretty much were able to succeed in their accusation against the Davis administration of sluggish action on environmental bylaws. And so, again, Shanique, we're talking about a situation where, both the GBPA has footing in this case, in this legal wrangling, whereas the Davis administration also has some sort of ground. But again, let's bring it back to the room. We're talking about a room that's packed to capacity. We have a number of officials in here, a number of Grand Bahamians. Shanique, based on how I'm looking throughout the room, a number of individuals flew from the capital here to be a part of this town hall meeting that we're experiencing right now. Shanique, from the onset, I can tell you that a number of legal minds have taken their seats on the panel, along with Prime Minister Philip Davis. We do expect for Prime Minister Philip Davis to pretty much weigh in on the discussion. Of course, he's been the one who's been quite vocal about this arbitration process to reporters in side interviews in Parliament during that presentation last week. And he pretty much dubbed it a historic win. He and the Attorney General, Ryan Pinder, they both pretty much called it a historic win. Again, notwithstanding government losing its bid to get some $357 million from the GBPA, the Prime Minister maintained that liability has been established for the Grand Bahama Port Authority. And so, again, you can hear loud cheers in the background based on what's being talked about here, on the panel. Again, you have some legal minds pretty much scrutinizing the outcome of it. Prime Minister, we do expect for him to give his opinion on it. And we do expect at any given moment, well, shortly after the panel is done, we do expect for the opposition leader, Michael Pintard, to give his presentation on tonight's town hall meeting. But Shanique, I'm going to be standing by. We're going to try to wrap it up because they are pretty much in the thick of things as it relates to their presentation. And I don't want to be a nuisance to what's happening here. So I'm going to wrap it up now. But stay tuned for more details. For now, I'm going to send it back to you, Shanique.
Jose, thank you so much. Excellent sort of surmising of everything that's happening there. And that, Ellington, it's very interesting. It's at a neutral place. Jose says the room is packed. How do you suppose that reflects on just where the people of Grand Bahama, Freeport, where they are? The fact that they're going to take a Monday night and not be watching beyond the headlines, but take a Monday night and show up to the Belinda Wilson Center in Grand Bahama to hear from Prime Minister Davis and any other number of legal minds about what this arbitration means. And as you heard, it's being dubbed clearing the air.
Absolutely. Shanique, the people of Grand Bahama want their lives to be normalized. The people of Grand Bahama wants to be able to thrive in their community like they once were. I think...
well, then if they once were, you would say, well, stick with the Port Authority. In the original framework that it presented itself initially.
Prime Minister Davis, in his response to the port, when they threw that statement at him in the media, Prime Minister Davis said this. He said that the port once thrived under the original family Sir Jack Hayford and Edward St. George, there was a time when Grand Bahama thrived. But obviously, those that are in charge now doesn't have the drive, doesn't have the willpower, or is not interested in driving and pushing Grand Bahama forward. I saw a clip by the attorney Fred Smith, and he's talking about how things have been falling apart. These people are not living up.
Fred Smith, one of Grand Bahama's noted
attorney.
residents.
He talked about how Grand Bahama has been falling apart, how they're not living up to their agreement. All of the infrastructure is falling apart, and government can no longer sit idly by and allow Freeport to deteriorate, and the people of Freeport that you saw in that room to continue to punish under this lackadaisical attitude. Freeport can do better. Freeport have been better. And so this is what you see. That's what you see in that room.
Certainly,
Grand Bahama people want to move Freeport forward.
Yes.
It's about the advancement and the development of that
Freeport.
city.
It isn't about
consequently Grand Bahama.
It isn't about flexing muscles.
Absolutely.
It isn't about who won and who lost. I feel, based on the turnout this evening at the Belinda Wilson Center, that it's about moving Freeport forward. And I don't think that the people of Freeport or Grand Bahama want necessarily the Grand Bahama Port Authority totally out the picture. They just want different terms of agreement.
They want different terms of agreement and something that works in the best interest of Freeport.
Absolutely. This is Beyond the Headlines. We are just getting started tonight. When we come back, that 37-year-old acting as a model scout. I wonder, offering jobs where? Well, he did the unthinkable. We'll tell you more about that right after this break. Stay close.
Hey, it's your boy Charlie Bahama here at Superwash, Superwash's newest spokesmodel. And I'm here to tell you about Superwash's large capacity washers and dryers for all your big loads.
I know I see that Charlie Banana coming here just now.
Uh-oh, luckily it's also big enough for me to hide it.
I thought he was right over here where these large capacity washer and dryers is. They're big enough now to handle your big loads, you know. Yeah, like your comfort on your blanket. But just look at those. Somebody forget to turn on the dryer. Oh, stop! You hear something? Yeah, that's the sound of clean. Superwash washes you, processes you, and entertains you 24/7.
In a world of imagination, even a little mess can be part of the adventure. But for a truly royal snack, we need a clean slate. A few drops of Penalin dish liquid makes even dried-on paint disappear like magic. Penalin dish liquid, powerful cleaning in 3 fresh scents.
The Fox Foundation proudly presents the keynote speaker for the 3rd Annual Women's Entrepreneurship Initiative, this March 19th at 7 p.m. at the beautiful Bahamas Resort. Get ready to be inspired by Randy Zuckerberg, tech innovator and the creator of Facebook Live. She revolutionized real-time digital engagement, empowering individuals and brands to broadcast instantly to global audiences. And now she brings that innovation and insight to the Fox Foundation's 3rd Annual Women's Entrepreneurship Initiative, March 19th at 7 p.m. at the Bahamas Resort. Under this year's theme, Give to Gain, join us for a night designed to inspire growth, spark opportunity, and strengthen the future of women in business.
Play for fun, not for funds.
In the Bahamas, we play hard, but we live smart.
We love a little competition.
A little excitement, a little thrill.
And at Idle Luck, gaming is all about entertainment.
Shared moments, celebrating the wins, and enjoying the experience.
The key is simple. Play for fun, not for funds. When you set a budget before you start,
and know your limits, you stay in control.
And when you're in control, the game stays what it's meant to be.
Fun. So play for fun, not for funds.
Must be 18 and over. Island Luck reminds you that it's only a game, so please game responsibly.
103.5 is turning 8 years old. 103.5 The Beat and Keep the Vibe Alive Music Group presents The Beat Fest. It's a Bahamian musical experience on March 14th at the Pond. Doors open 7 p.m. sharp. Performing live, Shine, Stevie S, Mama D, Veronica Bishop, Funky D. All backed up by the Pond Band. Hosted by Joe Cools, 1K Gaza, and Jess Mo. Music by 103.5 The Beat DJ. Tickets available now at all Beauty Shack locations. General admission, $30. VIP, $75. Get your tickets early. Spots are limited. Sponsored by Mazzari International, The Plug, and The Beauty Shack. And of course, 103.5 The Beat.
Hey, it's your boy Charlie
This
Bahama
segment
here.
is brought to you by EV Motors Fleet Sales Division. For 2026 commercial vehicles, call 821-2403 today.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. It's great to have you all tuned in this Monday evening. You know, just before the break, we went live to Grand Bahama at that Clearing the Air town hall meeting that's happening at the Belinda Wilson Center. You know, Ellington, you didn't have an opportunity to respond to opposition leader Michael Pintard. Now, tonight, Pintard is saying an F&M administration will re-examine that Hawksbill Creek agreement, I guess with the view of making things more favorable to the government in collecting the monies owed, and I imagine among a number of other things.
It's a very strong statement coming from the leader of the opposition. And again, I must commend him on that statement. It's a kind of a shift from his previous position, but obviously he's stating clearly and he's making it known that the government of the Bahamas will be continuous, and if there is something that is due to the Bahamian people, that he, Michael Pintard, will continue to pursue that should there be a change of government. So I think it's a very good thing. I appreciate his shift on his stance on that, because it wasn't quite like that a few weeks or months ago.
No, last week.
But that is very, very appreciable. And I think it's the right move, it's the right thing to do for the government on behalf of the Bahamian people.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, Ellington, a 37-year-old man, is tonight accused of posing as a model scout to prey on teenage girls. He has been remanded to prison after appearing in court on multiple serious charges. Jamal Daniels of Farrington Road is accused of raping a 16-year-old girl and having unlawful sexual intercourse with a 15-year-old on consecutive days in February. Prosecutors allege the 16-year-old was assaulted on February 23rd, while the 15-year-old was assaulted the following day. Daniels appeared before Abigail Farrington, where he was denied bail. He was not required to enter a plea to the rape charge, but pled not guilty to the unlawful sexual intercourse charge and elected to be tried before the magistrate. He also pled not guilty to possession of forged documents after police allegedly found him with a forged NIB card and driver's license when he was arrested March 1st. All matters were adjourned to June 10th. Court records show that Daniels previously served 6 years and 1 month in prison in 2021 after pleading guilty to 4 counts of unlawful sexual intercourse involving girls he allegedly lured to his home after meeting them on Facebook. Here's a man with a problem.
Wow.
Here's a man with a problem. You know, I guess the advice here to anyone being lured, especially in the Bahamas, come on, where the modeling jobs? So if somebody is going to tell you they are a talent scout, a model scout, or anything, they have acting jobs for you, you've got to really question that, Ellington. And perhaps it looks like teens really fall victim of this. You've got to question that because those jobs aren't necessarily in abundance in the Bahamas.
First of all, Shanique, as parents, we got to be a little more vigilant. Sometimes when we hear our young teenagers talk about these things, and initially you may think it's something good for them, I think we need to make sure, take the lead on these things and get in front of it, make sure we know who these persons are, make sure we know whether this is a legitimate agency, and so that we can protect our teens, because at that age, they're still vulnerable, they're seeking an outlet in life, they want to get out there and do things, and this is the beginning stage for them to enter into the world, and so we've got to protect them. And teenagers, you go on these Facebook, please stop following these silly, crazy, sick people. Obviously, here's a man that is sick, And we got to look at how we deal with these people.
We've got
Mental
to, because the
illness.
nothing mentally about his illness. A sexual register, for example, or must be established, because this man served time before. This is a habit for him.
And so this is...
He cannot relate to women his own age, and so this is what he does.
We cannot just do the jail time.
Allegedly.
We got to look at dealing with these individuals in a more comprehensive way so that we can get to the bottom of these issues. For a person to serve time and come out and reoffend in the same area, it's a sick person and they need to be dealt with a little more stringent. I think the time served, when you damage young people, 11 and 10 and 14-year-old, they're damaged for life for the most part, unless they can get some real good help. But that stays with them, the pain of that. And so we've got to look at how we deal with the offenders, and it got to be a little more stiff. This is a sick guy that is hell-bent on doing what he planned that he's going to do with them.
Absolutely, you know.
Because he doesn't have a life, going to jail for a few years, coming out and continuing in that manner. Like you said just now, that he's afraid to, or he just don't have it to approach and communicate with somebody of his age or his level, but he rather take advantage of unsuspecting young teens. And no, man, it's uncalled for. It's just despicable.
Absolutely. Well, Ellington, this got the internet talking all Saturday and Sunday. A video showing a dog being shot by a prison officer continues to spark debate across social media. And now the Bahamas Humane Society is weighing in. We get the story from Daniel Dean.
Did you see the calm and cool, swaggering way? Arm goes up, bullet diffuses, straight ahead, off we walk as if nothing has happened.
Concerned and outraged. That's how Bahamas Humane Society President Kim Arana says she felt after watching the video that appears to show a dog being shot by a prison officer. While Arana acknowledges the law requires owners to keep their dogs properly confined, she says a violation of that law does not warrant deadly force.
Yes, the dog should have been behind a fence, but you don't kill them because they weren't behind a fence. I don't shoot you if you go through a red light. I don't shoot you if you jaywalk.
Arana says any experienced dog lover can recognize animal behavior, and from what she saw in the video, the dogs were not charging at anyone and remained on their owner's property. She argues that as trained dog handlers, the officers involved should have been able to assess the situation differently.
The problem is, in the Bahamas, everybody is scared of dogs. So all a dog has to do is look at someone, they leap backwards and go, he does bite. It's insane. Anybody, I repeat, who knows anything about dogs or animals at all will tell you those dogs were not charging.
Arana also rejects the claim that the officers were acting in defense of their canine unit.
Had the service dogs that were being walked sensed any danger, they too would have reacted to a degree. Those dogs are highly trained. They're trained to sense danger. They just kept plodding along nice and peacefully.
Meanwhile, Director of Agriculture Jason Sand says the Animal Control Unit is reviewing the incident. And in a statement Sunday, Commissioner of Corrections Don Clare expressed sympathy over the incident and confirmed that an investigation is underway.
I don't trust an internal investigation because they'll protect their own people. I think there should be an independent investigation.
Arana also questioning whether officers should be walking through communities with their firearms already drawn, warning that incidents like this can erode public trust. She's now calling for a full and independent investigation, while urging authorities to consistently enforce animal control laws, not just when incidents go viral. Interviews with the officers involved were conducted Monday, and authorities say the investigation is ongoing. Danielle Dean, Eyewitness News.
Well, Ellington, that was really troubling to see. Dogs get excited when they see other dogs walking. If you walk frequently, you would see exactly what the interactions are there. And as Kim said, you would know when it's an aggressive interaction as well, because then the way they approach each other would be totally different. But the guard dogs or service dogs appeared to be,
for the most part,
they appeared. That's why I'm carefully choosing my words. They appeared to be IPC all, and just walking type thing. So not necessarily riled up in response where there was going to be this happening, because we know that happens as well among between dogs. But I don't know that pulling out a service weapon and just firing where anybody could have just crossed there or try to quickly run there and grab their dog back. I don't know if that was the wisest. Maybe was it trigger happy? I mean, what was happening?
Shanique, while I observed that the service dogs were a bit perturbed, I watched as one of them start to look back and pull his rear under a bit. However, I don't think, because I've encountered situation, and I'm speaking on both sides, I've encountered situations where I saw pot cakes come out at me like that, and you just make at them and they gone. And so I don't think that the gun shooting was absolutely necessary. I await the outcome of the investigation, but I don't see where it was necessary. However, this highlights, and there's laws on the books also that govern how we have pets. Because on the other hand, we've had Bahamians and children in recent time been mauled by these animals. Once a dog or a pit bull or a pot cake, once they chase after somebody or another animal and they sense the fear in them, they will continue to attack. They will pull off if you look bold.
You've got to put on this act that's so brave,
which sometimes children are not able to put on, and women are not able to put on. Adults,
you know
exactly.
What I mean? Well, speaking of Ellington, this is funny because I think the lady went right back at that scene. This was yesterday, so that happened Saturday, I imagine. Well, this was yesterday. Let's take a look, Justin.
Did you see the calm and cool, swaggering way? Arm goes up, bullet.
So we back here talking about this nasty paving. Whoever is the contractor, whomever got the contract.
Dog will die? No, she don't die.
Yes.
No, that's not time.
Yes.
No.
No, I tell you, he break free from the rope.
She break away from the rope?
Yes. Oh. Who dog says?
They Marco dog.
So there you have that, right? So just as you were saying, this lady was walking there, and Justin brought this to my attention. He saw it yesterday. This lady, in fact, shared it yesterday. So let's talk about the flip side of that. And Kim is somebody who is a proponent of, listen, if you have a dog, you've got to keep that dog properly housed behind the fence and properly chained, whatever it is. But that is not happening. That's why we have such a huge stray dog problem. That woman was chased, and good thing her vehicle was there waiting for her, that she could run in there somehow. So if you didn't understand that she was first talking about the road, the state of the road, and then all of a sudden she started being chased, and you heard them saying and calling the owners of the dog who was chasing. They know the owner. The owner obviously doesn't care to be a responsible citizen, and so this is what happened.
And it happens all the time. You walk through any one of these communities, there are dogs just walking, and people refer to them as stray dogs, but normally when I'm with my guests, I drive guests along, they say, oh, these are poor doggy. I say, no, they belongs to somebody. Unfortunately, they belongs, and somebody, those dogs will roam around looking for food, turning people garbage over and attacking people whenever, but they goes home at the end of the day to some home. And we need to do better than this. There are laws on the book that mitigate against how you have your dog. You either have to have them tied on a leash in your yard if your yard is open, or you have to have your yard fenced in. Unfortunately, we as Bahamians, we do not care, and the simplest little dog that appears to be a friendly dog can go wild and attack somebody. They are dogs after all.
Mm-hmm.
And so we need to be more responsible. Again, I don't think the shooting of the dog was warranted. You could have waved a stick at that dog and he would have broke off running. But we need to be equally as responsible as pet owners in this country, how we handle our pets. And I think the law need to deal with that, where we go and find people having these dogs roaming about the place, making their other neighbors' lives miserable.
And people who just want to enjoy walking about or going on an early morning exercise, whatever it is they want to do, here they are, afraid for their safety.
As simple as keeping in the front of your yard clean. Yeah. Your dog come and turn my garbage over. You're not going to come. You know I don't have no dog. You ain't coming in the morning to fix my garbage. I have to do it every morning, and I don't have no dog.
Absolutely.
It's unfair.
And so on the flip side of that, while the
neighbors.
officers look like they were trying to reenact an episode of Bonanza, they should not have to, while walking and patrolling wherever they were, they should not have to contend, and with their own service dogs, contend with being
they should not have to contend with that, right? Agreed.
Of an attack by stray dogs.
So it is as wide as it is long.
Yeah, it is the residents. Irresponsible, absolutely irresponsible. Well, Ellington, here's a story for you. St. John's College principal and former assistant commissioner of police, in fact, I think he even was deputy commissioner of police, Quinn McCartney, has resumed his duties following the completion of an internal investigation by the Anglican Central Education Authority. The inquiry was launched after a video surfaced. There it is. You see that? You see him? Yes, that video. That's Quinn McCartney right there. Look that right there. After McCartney was shown with his hands around the neck of a female student during the school's Mardi Gras event. The incident, captured on camera last month, prompted a 2-week investigation by the board, during which time McCartney was off duty and an acting principal oversaw the school. Sources told Eyewitness News that the female in the video was not a student of any Anglican school and that the altercation left a St. Anne's student injured. A recent letter to Eyewitness News reportedly from associates of St. John's College called for McCartney's removal and cited other instances where he allegedly was aggressive in his handling with a teacher. However, Eyewitness News has learned that McCartney was reportedly attempting to de-escalate confrontation involving school officials, which led to him shouting and holding back a teacher from St. John's. Insiders say the final decision on McCartney's employment will be made after a complete police probe for their portion of the investigation. There's McCartney right there. Listen, McCartney is a man who is trained in the law, who believes in law and order and authority. And I'm not saying that maybe his actions or decisions shouldn't be questioned, but you saw the mayhem where he tried to get that student, I guess, under control and out of the way.
Shanique, I saw that video and I saw some other videos that a lot of people are not even taking into account. See what you got, and I'm happy that McCartney is reinstated.
I'm happy that he is in a school campus. We need, in fact, if all principals could be former deputy commissioners of police, that would be great.
Yes, McCartney didn't do anything to hurt that child. I think in everything that I saw in that was an attempt to restrain some of them from their behaviors. You try to stop them, and they continuously fighting. I saw further in that same video, well, in another section of it, where students were stomping another one on the ground. I mean, brutally. And Mr. McCartney, along with others, have to do whatever measures it took to restrain. And if it took holding, and I'm sure he didn't choke her to the point where she couldn't breathe. I'm sure he wasn't choking her. But if he had to do that to restrain her, I support it. I see the brutality, how these students act and how they carry on in these schools. I think parents, you need to step up to the plate. You got to do a better job that your children could feel free to go out and carry on like that. I mean, I could tell you, students plan that. You hear me? I got inside information that was planned.
They often do.
And it was said that we're going to St. John's to their Mardi Gras and we can deal with them St. John's students.
And you don't.
Another set of students planned that.
And you don't need a disciplinarian like Quinn McCartney on the campus?
Thank God he was there, because one of your children would have been seriously hurt if he wasn't there, and others to kind of quell that. So kudos to him and others. Thank you for being there and doing a good job.
Beyond the Headlines is back right after this. Stay close. The race to 2026 is heating up, and the nation's voice is louder than ever. Here on Beyond the Headlines, we're checking the mood, the momentum, and the message of the people. I'm Shanique Miller. Each week, we're taking the temperature of the electorate to see what's really driving the nation. Who's connecting? Who's cooling off? What issues are heating up ahead of 2026? This is Temperature Check 2026, where journalism meets the nation's heartbeat.
Hey, it's time to lock in your vote.
Your vote is your power.
With the new boundaries in place, you may need to transfer or confirm your voter registration.
And if you have never registered or didn't plan to vote,
don't get left out on one of the most important decisions of your future.
Make sure when election day comes, you're ready to say,
your say, your vote, your choice.
Is turning 8 years old. 103.5 The Beat and Keep the Vibe Alive Music Group presents The Beat Fest. It's a Bahamian musical experience on March 14th at The Pond. Doors open 7 p.m. sharp. Performing live, Shine, Stevie S, Mama D, Veronica Bishop, Funky D. All backed up by The Pond Band. Hosted by Joe Cools, 1K Gaza, and Jess Mo. Music by 103.5 The Beat DJ. Tickets available now at all Beauty Shack locations. General admission, 30. VIP, 75. Get your tickets early. Spots are limited. Sponsored by Mazzari International, The Plug, and The Beauty Shack. And of course, 103.5 The Beat.
The race to 2026 is heating up. There is criticism tonight regarding the voter registration process ahead of the 2026 general election. Free National Movement candidate Senator Michael Barnett Ellis in Killarney says, according to constituents, the long wait times for registration or simple location adjustments have been a major discouragement to completing the process. Barnett Ellis says she hopes the Parliamentary Registration Department will expand its service in Killarney, given it's one of the most populated constituencies.
So some of the feedback I'm getting with relation to voter registration is the length of time that it takes to happen. Right now, we only have 2 voter registration stations in Killarney. That's at the Cable Beach Post Office and at Gambia Primary. It looked as if they might open one in St. Paul's. That hasn't quite happened yet. So people are experiencing long wait times. There are also concerns about the geo-pinning, because if you're not familiar with Google Google Maps. Sometimes it's difficult for people to locate their house on the screen. But for the most part, it has been going well. And when we've reached out to the Parliamentary Registration Department to raise those concerns, they have been very responsive in terms of helping individuals to register or to correct mistakes in terms of where they're located. I'm anxious to see how that goes. We'll have to wait and see. I know most people who are in Killarney have lived in Killarney for a long period of time and didn't necessarily have to verify or to come into contact with the Parliamentary Registration Department. So, I'm not sure how many persons have signed up for biometric cards in Killarney, given that they had their purple voters card. There was really no need for them to go and sit and wait one evening at the post office.
My family members just today.
I'm anxious to see how I might
registered, and it's something you have to take your time and do with those who are from the Parliamentary Registrar Department in the registration process. But do you think there's a need in Killarney at this moment? Yes, Killarney is 6,000 constituents or so, but is there a need right now, before an election the date is announced, for many voting centers?
I think Michael Abana, she did mention that one is going to be open in St. Paul soon. I think what she's probably experiencing is a high turnout of people who will probably just move in the area, all rushing to do it one time. I don't necessarily think there's a need to expand so heavily and spread the registration department so thin at this early in the game. So I think it's going to taper off, and yes, a number of people who recently moved in the area may have rushing to get their voter's card, or there may be some who are trying to get their biometric card. But I think it just speaks to the fact that Killarney is all fired up and enthused and ready to go.
Killarney is one of those seats. We talked about Killarney in last week's temperature check. I'll tell you that. So Killarney is one of those seats.
And I saw
absolutely.
one of your temperature check panelists said that Killarney is confused. No, Killarney ain't confused. Killarney is really waiting until the day is called. Killarney ain't trying to get ready. Killarney ain't trying to figure nothing out. Killarney know where they are. Killarney know where they're going.
Oh, you think so?
Killarney is ready.
Okay, I tell you that. Meanwhile, Ellington, let's look at this issue right here. Applications for some business licenses are being denied, as authorities say not all entrepreneurs are seeking approval for businesses in appropriate locations. The communications manager at the Department of Inland Revenue says some applicants are having their requests rejected by the Department of Physical Planning due to zoning restrictions. He adds that both agencies are now working more closely to ensure businesses are properly placed in approved areas across the country.
And agencies are working together more often, especially physical planning. And I can tell you that every other week or every other month, there's an agenda. There's a new agenda. There's a change. 2 years ago, you could have received a physical planning approval for nail tech or hair salon. Now you can't. And they spoke to the fumes and the environment. So every month or so, there's an update. What we try to get physical planning to do and our agencies to do is to promote and educate persons. So we're getting calls every day. Oh, I was denied by physical planning. I have to call physical planning. They say, oh, there was an update. So we're working together. And that is a big thing that is happening now, specifically with liquor sales now. There's the new liquor registration. And that is now taking a toll and involves a lot of approvals all over again for persons that sell liquor, restaurants, all of the sort, right? And that has actually put responsibility on the Department of Inland Revenue more than physical planning now, because as simple as owning something that sells liquor 700 feet from a school or church should not be allowed. So when you're applying for that, that is something that's going to be considered. And when you're trying to get your renewal, it is now something that is considered. And you will not receive your renewal if you do not have the liquor registration. And when you're applying for a new one, selling liquor, we ask that you do it 90 days in advance before your intended start date. The process is now changed.
And you know, it's good to see this. I remember being a reporter and saying that Nassau was just allowed to just happen.
Yeah.
It just, if you dream it right there and you figure right there, that's why I'm going to put a liquor license, a house, then after that it's going to be the place of worship, and that's what Nassau was. So how do you now reel and call back these cars of this train that's already left the station? I mean, how can you now, people have been in business for all these years, and mind you, they know it's wrong because there's a school there, there's somebody living there, there are kids and all this stuff, but the point is it's been allowed. And so how are you impacting people's businesses? Are they to go and pick those businesses up and put them elsewhere?
It's been a long time coming, and we've just neglected proper zoning over the years. And I must say kudos to the department for finally stepping up to the plate and saying, hey, you can't put this in, you can't put that there, because it seems like every time a closed store closed down, we put a liquor in it. A church, I used to see in a case where there were church is now liquor store. And so, yeah, we cannot just be doing these things arbitrarily. We got to build our constituencies and build our island with proper zoning. And so I'm happy that they're doing it. It's going to be a challenge as to how they deal with those pre-existing locations where people in some cases have constructed buildings that house their liquor establishment or restaurant, whatever it is, near a school or near a church or within a community where it should not be. Because we've had communities that have pushed back many years when they try to open some liquor stores or some gaming or other places near to their residential areas. They've pushed back and they were successful in it. And so finally, I must say kudos to the Inland Revenue for this push that they're now dealing with to properly zone and organize our communities and our school zones and where the church and stuff like that. You don't need no liquor store across the road, people brawling and church service going on across the street. That's not who we are. That's not who we used to be. And so let's return to our values, our core values that made us Bahamian, that made us stood out in the world.
I am all for that, Ellington. I applaud it as well, but I certainly want to hear from those business owners, because if you didn't allow it, you know, who wasn't working? Who wasn't working some years ago? Who decided? Who woke up recently and said, you know what, let's start actually zoning Nassau? Who did that? Who exactly?
It's going to be a challenge.
Yeah, I know Michael Turnquest he is quite heated about this. Certainly looking forward to hearing from him later this week on this initiative, which is a good one, but looking forward to hearing from him. Ellington, I thank you so much. You were incredible tonight.
Hey.
Really super. And I want to say thank you. I want to say a huge thank you to all of you for tuning in this evening. It's certainly been awesome having you hang out with us here on Beyond the Headlines. Looking forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow evening. For the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm Shanique Miller. Make it a great evening, everyone.
The Verizon Media Group, home of ILTV, Paramount Systems Limited, Eyewitness News, and Beyond the Headlines.